Well, my work of showing my collections of different kind of genres continues, and this time we are coming to my jazz EPs or jazz 7 inches, which also is a genre that is pretty big, so it will be in different kind of parts, but I will try not to do it in too many parts. So in this episode we're going to start with the big band singles that I have, which contains some musicians that have pretty much more singles than others. Hi Benny Goodman. So let's go on and see what kind of big bands singles I do have. Well, let's start. And for those who wonders, I will not say each and every title on it, because there are most of them are EPs with 4 titles, and I think the video would go on forever. So I will show, so you can read for yourself which title it is on the EPs. Here we have a Charlie Barnett. Not easy to find him on an EP. Charlie Barnett Orchestra. Bunny Berrigan, last recordings, which I have checked up is his last recordings before his tragic death, way too early, alcoholism. Les Brown. More or less brown. Even more or less brown. And we have coming into some a little unsorted. No, we're coming into the huge part, Count Basie stuff here. So Count Basie and Joe Williams. And we have Count Basie along with Frank Sinatra. And we have Count Basie plays, Joe Williams sings the standards. We have Count Basie and his orchestra. We have Count Basie from April in Paris album. We have Count Basie from Atomic album. I bought it mostly for Whirly Bird. More Count Basie. And more Count Basie. And, do you believe it? More Count Basie. This time without a proper sleeve. Sometimes you have to make those decisions when it comes to jazz, because many of them aren't all that easy to find with a sleeve. We have Count Basie on the Jazz at the Philharmonic label series. Yes, more Count Basie. And yes, more Count Basie. This is the last Count Basie though. Wait till we get to Benny Goodman. We have Benny Carter and his orchestra. More Benny Carter, this time with Roy Eldridge. Now we're coming to the Duke Ellington. Duke in mellow tone. And it doesn't say all that much which song, so here I can say it. In mellow tone, Cottontail, I Don't Know What Kind of Blues I Got, and Rampers in Richmond. A couple that I've shown before that is very, very good. Ellington 1955, or Ellington 55. Part 2 and Part 3, only missing Part 1. We have Duke in Newport. We come to Ella Fitzgerald, one of these jukebox releases. We have some more Ella on stage. Stan Getz, and we have Coleman Hawkins, Illinois Jacquet, Just Young, Flip Phillips, Hit Me, you name it. This is an interesting. This is Siggy Gerhard Swingtet. You might call him Germany's Benny Goodman, because it sounds very much Benny Goodman trio about this one. But it sounds really, really good actually. Now, we're coming to the gargantic part of my Benny Goodman singles. Benny Goodman Quintet and Trio. We have Benny Goodman and his orchestra. We have Benny Goodman's Story, Part 2 and Part 1 and Part 2. No, Part 1 and Part 3, missing Part 2. And Benny Goodman's Story, of course, is a movie. Steve Allen plays the role of Benny Goodman here. Benny Goodman Orchestra again. And we have Benny Goodman and his orchestra. Benny Goodman, and you know what? It is his orchestra. And here comes a series that I think I have the complete of, the Ode to Swing series. We have Part 1. We have Part 2. There's another sleeve though, for some reason. We have a Part 3 with yet another sleeve. We have another Benny Goodman Story release, Part 2 this time, which is a double EP set. These are containing 1 record and 2 records. Benny Goodman Classic in Jazz. The Classics in Jazz series is a little bit of low budget, mostly containing some of the most ordinary songs, but could also be really good if it is right. We have Swinging mit Benny Goodman, which is a couple of songs from the 1938 Cagney Hall concert, the German release. The Permanent Goodman, Portrait in Music of the King of Swing. Now, we're leaving Benny Goodman. No, we're not. Sorry. We have a lot of Benny Goodman left. But he is the main focus here is Charlie Christian. But it is still with Benny Goodman's sextet. Benny Goodman Swing International. Gala, this is very much low budget. We're talking Gala International, which is a sub-label to Concert Hall label, which I said before, I'm not all that fond of Concert Hall's jazz sub-labels. This is interesting. Benny Goodman in Walt Disney's 2 for the Record. So this is the songs from Benny Goodman's from the Walt Disney's movie Make Mine Music and For the Record movies. So this is very, very interesting to have. I just love the After You Gone theme. This picture is taken from the After You Gone theme in Make Mine Music, and that one is so hilariously funny and well made when a couple of hands dancing on the keys. Benny Goodman and his orchestra. New Benny Goodman sextet. And the famous Benny Goodman dates, part 1. Here comes more. Benny Goodman and Rosemary Clooney. And we have Benny Goodman with a little, not the best sleeve, but Stomping at the Savoy. We have another part of this Classics in Jazz series. This is Benny Goodman Quartet. Benny Goodman Touch, bought in Stockholm. I think I filmed it when I bought it during my first Stockholm movie. This is a double EP set with 2 discs. We have Benny Goodman with Harry James, Lionel Hampton and Martha Tilton. And we have Benny Goodman is orchestra again. Benny Goodman Trio Quartet. This sleeve is horrible, I know, but the single itself was pretty good anyway. Bach Goes to Town, Benny Goodman. Lionel Hampton and his orchestra. Now we're finally leaving Benny Goodman. We have more Lionel Hampton. Crazy Man Hamp, Lionel Hampton in concert. The Herd Rides Again. We're talking about Woody Herman now. And of course, there are a lot of Woody Herman as well. The Las Vegas Herd, Jackpot. And we have the new third herd, the Herd from Mars. Ellington, it says, but it's not Duke Ellington here that is the main focus. It is actually Johnny Hodges, as we are in the letter H. J, Quincy Jones, with an EP that I got for free actually at the record fair a couple of years ago. And Quincy Jones with a single from a fantastic, really highly recommended album, Quincy's Home Again, along with Swedish big band leader Harry Arnold and his Swedish Radio Studio Orchestra. Coming to Gene Krupa with Anita O'Day and Roy Eldridge. More Gene Krupa, and in highest fee, Drummer Man. Gene Krupa Trio, not the best sleeve. A lot of these have pretty worn out sleeves, but if it is a great vinyl inside, as this actually is, I see no reason, if it's good jazz music, to pass this one up, if it is the price is right. These are very interesting. This is Sessions at Midnight. They were actually these musicians with Benny Carter and Harry Sweet Edison and a whole lot of great Jimmy Rolls. They were playing at a hall, and in the middle of the night they got an invite to go over to a record studio and in the middle of the night just jam everything they got. And they actually did, and it was released as this one. So in the middle of the night, they're standing in a record studio and after a concert and just giving everything that they still have after the concert. I'm missing part 2 of these. Hoping to find that one day. Glenn Miller concert, which is a double set, but it is 4 each side, so it's almost like an entire album. As I have said before, if I'm going to buy Glenn Miller, it had to be live and without those ordinary worn out songs. In the Mood and Check on As Usual and so on. Perciani in New York, and Perciani here is Andre Perciani, a very much forgotten band leader who had a lot of bebop style in him, while he also did a lot of swing. Tony Scott, Swinging in Sweden. This one might have been moved to the Swedish part. Tony Scott isn't Swedish, of course, but the main part of the band is Swedish. So I think maybe it should be in Sweden, Swedish part. here is a favorite of mine, Artie Shaw's smaller band, Gramercy 5, that I really like, and I was able to find EPs with them, with their actually are in it. So I'm very happy for this one. This one, and they also have a couple of songs here. More Gramercy 5. Now orchestra of Artie Shaw. We have some Sarah Vaughan with Hal Mooney and his orchestra.